Hello, my name is Christian Velasquez and my Canada number is 7024. I am from Terravilla High School, center number UX977. Today I will be presenting the research of the effects of water contamination on biodiversity through the lens of economics. Let's get started. One major issue is how contaminants disrupt ecosystems by altering things like food chains and habitats, which eventually leads to even more problems. For example, in the image on the right, you can clearly see the effects of the declining water quality. Because of this, fish are dying due to things like oxygen depletion, which in the long run shortens their lifespan and impacts the overall ecosystem. Water pollution has universal effects on both people and the environment. It threatens local communities by contaminating the only source of drinking water that is available in their area, which causes health issues. On the bigger side of things, it disrupts ecosystems and can negatively affect biodiversity. Nations that are in the process of being developed, they face even greater challenges due to poor infrastructure, which means that they are being more at risk. Additionally, pollution greatly impacts the aquatic life. Water contamination can greatly affect economic aspects as well. The severity of the problem harms fisheries, agriculture, and tourism, which affects GDP. Now, GDP is the total value of all the goods produced in a country during a time period or a specific time period. This can eventually lead to losses in revenue. The contamination of water increases supply chain expenses and water treatment processes, leading to higher costs. Lastly, water contamination weakens or can weaken climate resiliency, which is the ability to prepare or respond to climate-related events such as floods or droughts. This poses financial risks. In India, one of the main reasons for water contamination is corruption. As seen more in the present date's infrastructure is not keeping up with population levels in India. So you can ask yourself, why does this matter? Contaminated water harms biodiversity, bodies of water like rivers and lakes. Furthermore, it leads to diseases and higher medical costs if consumed by humans. If clean water isn't available, then it can also slow down economic development. The graph shows both treated and untreated wastewater in major Indian cities from 1978 to 2009. You can infer the amount of treated water has increased, but untreated water has grown a greater significant amount. This means that despite improvements, a long significant amount of wastewater is still being released into the environment without proper treatment. Water Policy is a journal published by IWA Publishing, which is part of the International Water Association, a globally recognized organization dedicated to water research and policy. According to an article from Arab News, Barca has been dealing with serious water contamination issues, which have caused major health problems. When water isn't properly treated or regulated, humans end up consuming these waters, as I previously mentioned before. This is happening as a result from a mix of pollution and poor management of water. When people get sick, healthcare costs rise. Plus, water shortages and pollution have led to protests, as people demand for better access to clean water. Arab News is a well-established English language news outlet based in Saudi Arabia since 1975, and they cover both global and local news. Kayleen Malik is a journalist who has covered multiple topics in the Middle East, like environmental problems and topics of that nature. One of the biggest takeaways here is that public concern about environmental issues has changed between 2000 and 2021. Water pollution has consistently been one of the top concerns, which makes sense because clean water is essential for public health. Let's take a look at Washington, D.C. as an example. The city faces challenges related to water pollution due to mismanagement and things like industrial waste. The effects go way beyond the environment. There are things like public health risks, economic consequences like increased healthcare, and even impact on tourism. In the chart, these trends show us how public perception of environmental issues has changed over time and highlight ongoing need for better solutions and policies. According to 2021 Gallup poll on environmental concerns, water pollution remains the top issue among Americans. Gallup is a well-respected analytic and polling organization. They have been tracking public opinions on environmental issues for decades now. They provide valuable insight onto how concerns have been shifted over time. According to National Geographic, pollution and overuse are serious threats to Florida's delicate freshwater springs. The publication emphasizes how factors like runoff and urban development are putting these ecosystems at risk. One of the biggest concerns in this area is the health of the freshwater springs. These natural springs are essential for local ecosystems and wildlife to flourish and thrive. One big issue here would be pollution, which comes from sources like agricultural runoff and things like fertilizer that wash into the water. Overuse is also a problem because when too much water is pulled from these sources, it affects the overall water quality and flow. National Geographic has been a trusted source of scientific and environmental journalism for over 130 years now. It is widely respected for its in-depth reporting, for fact-based storytelling, and they use multiple uses of primary sources. The polluter pays principle is a rule which requires industries responsible for water contamination to contribute to restoration and sustainable water management initiatives. In countries like Germany, this idea has led to positive environmental outcomes. Furthermore, this principle can lead to positive environmental outcomes like cleaner water, reduced pollution, and improved public health. And these are key benefits to better biodiversity. In conclusion, individuals can share information to inspire others to act, use water efficiently, and choose eco-friendly options like electric cars. You can also advocate for laws that enforce the polluter pays principle to be successful and help with the overall biodiversity and less pollution in these waters. Lastly, here is my works cited.